it would almost put the center of the tornado right on the county line right now. And for Galesburg's sake, it is staying on that easterly course, which is good because prior to this, it was turning a little bit to the north. That's why it kind of looked like it was following Highway 34, even as Highway 34 made those two northward turns near Kirkwood and near Monmouth.
Getting a report from law enforcement reporting a tornado on the ground near Cameron, moving east at 15 miles per hour. Estimated that it will cross I-74 south of Galesburg in the next 10 minutes. There you go toward the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Yard, looking to the south and west. There it looks like the rain gets heavier just about a mile down the tracks there, and visibilities get much worse. And that's what we've been talking about. You can't always rely on being able to look at the radar then say, hey, I've seen the rotation on the radar, I know right where the tornado is, because the rain has wrapped that. And I think with those heavy rain indications we're getting on radar right now, that's what's making it very tough to see. We do believe now we have Mike Ortiz, our chief photographer, who's been out in the Port Byron area. We have a live shot ready for you, and as we pull this up, I'm sorry, you'll have to introduce yourself to us. And as we see behind you extensive damage to that house, what have you seen in your area tonight?
I'm Spencer Hughes and I'm from Port Byron, Illinois. I personally saw the tornado start to form. I was looking out my sliding glass window and I saw the clouds start to rotate. So then I mentioned to my dad, I said, Dad, will you come look at this? Make sure that I'm not crazy, that they're not rotating. And then he's like, yeah, they're rotating, everybody get in the basement. And then so my brother and his friend were over and they got down in the basement, so we're all sitting outside watching, and then I got a video of the tornado while it was in the next edition over from where we lived.
Well, we're glad you got into a safe place. That's a smart move. Now people are starting to come out of their homes as the storm has passed by. What are you seeing out there around you now? Describe that scene.
As of right now, I see all of our neighbors. We're a pretty close-knit community, and we're just trying to help each other out. As you can see behind me, there's a roof that has been blown off, and we're just trying to help each other out, clean up as much as we can.
And also the tornado warning for Warren County in effect for at least another minute or so. They may extend that. We will be keeping an eye. And for Knox County until 8:15.
Again, if you're in a safe place in Cameron, in that area, and you have some videos, some photos you'd like to share, or you have seen the storm firsthand, the aftermath, give us a call, let us know. We'd like to help share your story. We know that you have been in a very, very difficult evening out there. Our thoughts and prayers are with you as we continue reporting from throughout the QCA.
I almost know exactly where this is shot from LeClaire, looking across the river to Port Byron. And there you can see the two railroad tracks in the foreground, barge, and then Port Byron in the background. But gosh, the lighting makes it tough, but you can kind of see what could be the funnel cloud there, and just the nose of the barge is just to the lower left of it, that white core that you see. Even our pointer right there, whoever's back there on the mouse, you're doing a good job. I think you found it there. That would be the funnel cloud or tornado if at that point it had been hitting the ground. And that's one thing that we should clarify. It's a funnel cloud until it hits the ground, and then it becomes a tornado. And sometimes you really can't see that connection. Sometimes there's kind of a blank spot, and you look from the bottom of what you can see to the ground, and if you can see a debris swirl, then it's a tornado. We have some Kirkwood, Illinois information?
Yes, we do, Eric. Let's take a look at that too. That video just coming in. What appears to be, appears to be a funnel cloud.
That's the large wedge that we heard about and we were warning people in Cameron about, and all along 34, Gary.
Tell us what we are seeing though, Eric, with that. I mean, that's obviously, is that the big wedge, the very wide tornado system with lightning surrounding it as well, as we see there?
Well, yeah, so right there. That's why we call it a wedge, because it looks like a wedge of pie. Seriously, think of Trivial Pursuit, any wedge. That's exactly why we call these wedge tornadoes. And what we make that comparison for, or why we state them that way, and the lightning there is incredible too, is that means you've got a very well-formed tornado. You've got what we call a mesocyclone, which is the core of that whole thunderstorm is rotating. And when you get that rotation extending to the ground, that's just about textbook. And those are the tornadoes that can cause the most widespread damage. And look at the base of that tornado. It's not a point. it's about halfway into that wedge. That is a wide damage path, and you can see the wall cloud around it likely rotating as well. If we were there where that person who shot that video was, we could see those little elements of the clouds on the backside of that tornado to the right and left that are hanging down. We could see those moving from the right to the left around the tornado. That is a very well-developed tornado. I mean, I don't know what the distance was from the photographer's vantage point to the tornado. It looks, I mean, maybe 2 miles. I really can't tell, but depending on the width of that path, I mean, we could be dealing with perhaps an F3 tornado there.
We've actually had confirmation of a couple of tornadoes on the ground by local law enforcement and trained spotters.
This is a house damaged, and we're seeing a lot of houses with roof parts missing. Look at that big gap in that roof there. Emergency crews on the streets there. A lot of trees down, which we assume now. A lot of power lines down. So even though the storm has passed, another reminder, there are a lot of hidden dangers out there. Pieces of debris in the roads, in some cases power lines down. But Erica, we're seeing now some of the aftermath.
Again, still seeing tornado warnings in effect for Warren and Knox counties until 8:15.
Live from the KWQC Broadcast Center, this is TV6 News at 10.
Intense moments caught on camera tonight. Incredible video out of Cameron, Illinois. Not one, but several tornadoes dropping out of that storm around the QCA.
And this video sent in to us from a viewer in Swedensburg, Iowa. That's in Henry County, north of Mount Pleasant. Some very dark, ominous clouds with that tornado apparently tonight.
And another tornado spotted in Port Byron, leaving significant damage. We're bringing you team coverage of all that damage tonight. And we are looking at some serious damage in the QCA. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sharon DeReek.
And I'm Gary with TVA. We have crews across the area right now trying to get a better idea of what sort of damage we are talking about. The hardest hit area from what we hear, Cameron, Illinois tonight. Let's go live there. I believe we have James Stratton first tonight to tell us what you are seeing, James, in that community of about 800 people that has been hit hard tonight.
Good evening, Gary. I'm actually on the west side of town on 130th Street, 180th Avenue. And I'm not sure how well you can actually see this, but large power lines down across the street, and the street is actually flooded. Now, this is 130th Street, and there is actually a railroad crossing as well. And as you can see, that bright, shiny X, that is a railroad sign that has been completely toppled. Now, we actually have not been told if these power lines that you can see running across the road are hot or not. We're waiting on McDonough County Power to come test them and shut them off.
We have some absolutely incredible video of the tornado. Actually, 3 and even 4 tornadoes dropping out of the sky. Eric Maitland now, Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland, is going to walk us through what happened during the storm.
Yeah, we want to thank Colby Martin for some incredible video of the tornado that approached and went through Cameron, Illinois tonight. Now, we'll see it in different stages here, but first of all, a large tornado right there. Now, we had reports, and Elizabeth Goodson was telling us that we were having reports at times of up to 6 tornadoes. Well, actually, what it appears to be here, and this video kind of bears this out, one tornadic storm with multiple vortices, and you can see just how ominous that sky. Look at that spin up right there. You know, within the parent tornado, which covers a particular circle, say, of area, there will be smaller vortices like these that have even faster wind speeds. So as the main tornado really starts to weaken things, these multiple vortices, these smaller tornadoes within the main tornado, if you will, come and finish things off. And so that's why we're seeing a wide damage path around Cameron, Illinois tonight. And there you can see, I mean, words can't even describe it. As you just look and see what that tornado was doing, it would branch off into more vortices like those ones on the left wrapping around the main tornado, and suddenly those would pick up speed and do damage. Unfortunately, I think much of the damage that we're going to see from these storms will only be illuminated by the light of day tomorrow.
Boy, look at those explosions right now. Have you ever seen anything like that come through this area?
Not in this area. That many funnels all dropping down out of the sky. As James Stratton mentioned, KWQC's Elizabeth Goodson is on the opposite side of Cameron. We're going to go to her now to see what she is seeing from her vantage point. Elizabeth?
Well, we are at the north end of town, as James was talking about, and you can see there is a multi-agency response here. We have state police, we have the Warren County Sheriff, volunteer firefighters, first responders from many cities across the QCA coming here to help as soon as they heard about what happened. We have heard from the Warren County Sheriff a tornado coming through Kirkwood, Cameron, and Monmouth, but officers tell us some of them hearing possibly 6 of those tornadoes coming through, really doing some damage at this town. At this point, we are at a staging area. Unless you live in Cameron, you are not allowed into this area because of the concern about the power. We know that electricity, gas being shut off at this point. And I know you talked about power lines. We do have another picture. Colby Martin tweeted us that the power lines just down really as far as the eye can see, giving you an idea of how powerful those winds are, how they just swept on through this town. We also want to show you a picture of this. This silo just toppled, a huge silo laying on its side right in the middle of town. Obviously, you can imagine the power of the wind, the storm that could have done that, and of course the homes ripped apart, caved in, damaged. At this point, we don't know about injuries. We are still waiting on that. We know people are here searching. There is heavy equipment on scene. We are told anywhere from 500 to 800 people in this town, and first responders doing everything they can to help them. At this point, unless you live here, you can't get in. So 140th Street to the north and south of town, also 180th Avenue to the east and west, those are closed. Police turning people away who are trying to come through. We are waiting for an update. We're hoping to get that any moment, and we will bring you new information as soon as that comes in. For now, we are reporting live here in Cameron. Elizabeth Goodsit, KWQC-TV 6 News.
And Elizabeth, as you have been there now for more than an hour, nobody's being allowed in, emergency vehicles coming from all over. Have you seen, I hate to ask this question, but ambulances coming to and fro because they would need to bring the people perhaps to Monmouth or somewhere in that region?
Gary, we haven't seen any of those at this point, which we are assuming is a good sign. You know, you can't do that. It could be to make an assumption like that. We have seen several fire trucks, police cars, but no ambulances making their way in or out at this point.
All right, and we have heard that there are some homes damaged, that there's a lot of people without power. So when that happens, of course, the American Red Cross gets involved. Yeah,
hundreds are without power tonight. We'll get you updated on that from Ameren in a moment. But Trish Burnett, we believe, have on the phone now. She's with the Red Cross. And Trish, if you can hear me, can you tell us about your response? Have you been called in to help?
Well, we have sent a disaster team already to the location. They're taking bottled water, snacks, just some canteen items for responders and storm victims. We also have volunteers on standby if a shelter is needed. We're waiting for officials to let us know if they do need a shelter for some of those residents. And we've got supplies and volunteers ready to set that up very quickly if it is needed. We also waiting to see how it progresses, what other services may be needed at this point.
Well, and this storm really has only been out of the area for 90 minutes or so. I mean, how quickly do you amass your team, and how many people do you have going there tonight and trying to help?
You know, I don't have a number exactly, but we have a great team out of the Galesburg area that was close and obviously monitoring the weather, so they were ready to go. And those folks, as I said, have already gone to Cameron and have taken some initial supplies with them to see what else is needed. So we can luckily respond really quickly because we have great volunteers all across the region. And
Trish, if people in our area want to help the Red Cross help these people, what can they do tonight?
You know, the best thing is to donate to the disaster fund, which you can do through redcross.org. We don't know yet what's going to be needed specifically, so we're just prepared for whatever the emergency personnel tell us, but actually monetary donations for most disasters are the most useful things.
All right, Trish, thank you so much. It's going to be a busy couple of days for the Red Cross and the volunteers there. You guys always do such great work. Thank you for talking to us tonight. And, you know, we've had a number of reports of damage all around the area tonight as well. Tiffany Liu continues our team coverage.
Yeah, she's in Port Byron. You know, we're tracking all these storm systems. We had 2 issued warnings at about the same time. In Port Byron, we saw some significant damage earlier. Tiffany, what do you have for us?
Gary, Sharon, neighbors here tell me it happened shortly after 6:30 tonight when a tornado swept through the area. We also got a lot of viewer photos and videos of funnel clouds that came through. And just driving through the neighborhood, it's clear that something did come through here, and the storm left quite a bit of damage. Now, we are at one of the homes which had a lot of damage. You could see that people are working up top the roof right now. The garage door was also bent. And I actually have the homeowner with me right now, Greg Janicki. I know you told me earlier that you weren't home when this happened, but what was your reaction when you first pulled into the driveway?
It was scary to see, what had happened with the roof blowing off and stuff, but people were already here at work. Our neighbors came to help us immediately. So kind of put the family at ease and my kids at ease that, things were getting taken care of right away.
Have you ever seen any type of storm damage like this in Port Byron before?
I have not. No, I've never seen damage like this before. I know there's been worse than what we've been hit with, but for me personally, this is the worst I've seen.
Now talk to me a little bit about the damage that has happened to your home. What did you see when you came home?
Well, inside there's insulation blown everywhere. The roof came off on that side of the house, so we have the ceiling exposed so we can see up through the ceiling. The whole attic ceiling's gone. Same thing on this side of the house for the garage and laundry room. Ceiling's blown away. Just insulation everywhere, water damage dripping down into the bedrooms and now into the basement coming down too. So they're getting that patched up at the moment too. Hopefully it doesn't get too much worse.
All right. What were your immediate steps when you came home? I see a lot of crews are out here kind of working, helping you guys clean up.
Just making sure that the people that were here helping had things that they needed too. They were very supportive right away, and I didn't really need to do much. My neighbors and family were here getting to work right away, so I just checked out the damage and just started helping move a few things out of the way and making phone calls to insurance and stuff like that.
Sure. I'm sure in situations like this, we're just grateful that nobody was home and everybody was safe at the end of the day. Well, thanks for joining us. I know you have to take care of a bunch of things right now at this point. Now, tomorrow, the National Weather Service will be out here surveying the damage to determine what exactly came through Port Byron, Illinois. We're reporting live in Port Byron. Tiffany Liu, KWQC-Tv 6 News.
Tiffany, we saw pretty extensive damage on that home. Are you getting an idea of how many other homes were damaged in the Port Byron area tonight?
Well, just talking to the other neighbors around the area, it doesn't seem like their homes are too damaged, but we did see a lot of uprooted trees. A couple basketball hoops are tilted over and things like that, but it seems like otherwise homes damaged are pretty minor in this area. Greg got most of the damage actually right here on this street.
All right, that's some of the physical damage we saw. Thank you, Tiffany. And to some of the emotional scenes, too. One woman told us what she was experiencing as she watched the storm system come through.
He's like, yeah, they're rotating, everybody get in the basement. And then so my brother and his friend were over and they got down in the basement. So we're all sitting outside watching. And then I got a video of the tornado while it was in the next edition over from where we lived. We're a pretty close-knit community and we're just trying to help each other out. As you can see behind me, there's a roof that has been blown off and we're just trying to help each other out, clean up as much as we can.
We ran downstairs and as soon as we emerged, we see the damage to our neighbors' houses. Trees down, play sets gone, just a lot of damage in our neighborhood in just a small area. You never think it's going to happen to you until it happens.
Our crews out across the QCA tonight, in particular down in Cameron, where we understand some serious damage has been done to that community.
Yeah, let's check in with Elizabeth Goodsit. Actually, there is a news conference, an update from authorities going on about the damage there. Let's take a listen in.
And District 14 encompasses 5 counties, which include Warren County, Henderson, Hancock, McDonough, and Fulton counties.
We're going to head back to Cameron, Illinois tonight, covering our storm damage from those big tornadoes that roared through town. KWQC's
Elizabeth Goodsit has been gathering some information and has the very latest for us right now. Elizabeth, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we just finished up a briefing with Trooper Dan Hill. He is from the Illinois State Police, and the good news at this hour, he is telling us no reports of any significant injuries. So if anything positive can come out of this, that is what it is. Of course, it is still dark. Crews still have a lot of work to do. At this point, multiple agencies are on scene, so many that he actually couldn't list them all for us. He didn't want to leave somebody out, but we